Hello and welcome to the start of a new adventure for us. This is StarTropics, an NES original that also has a sequel we'll probably get to at some point. This is, I think, a very fun game that probably could have had more sequels and a longer lineage than it does, but still very fun. There's a very short little cutscene here. That is obviously a helicopter landing on this island, although nothing happens from here. We just go right back to the original screen. Now, I'm just going to quickly read, when you purchased this game originally, it had kind of a fun little thing where it came with a letter that theoretically was from your uncle, or Mike, the main character's uncle. Dear Mike, I'm sorry I did not write to you sooner, but I just returned from a long voyage in the islands in search of lost ruins and artifacts. I was very pleased to find your letter upon my return. Boy, time sure is flying by. Last time I saw you, you were just starting school, and now 15 years old, an honor student, and captain of your high school baseball team. I think it's a great idea that you visit me during your vacation. I'm sure that you'll enjoy the tropical islands, the blue water, and the friendly people you'll find living under the Southern Cross. You can even take a cruise in my super submarine Sub-C. I have enclosed some pictures and a map of Sea Island for you. Hope to see you soon, and give my regards to your family, Uncle Steve. So that is our backstory as we dive in here to StarTropics. Let's register our name. Oops. There we go. I actually don't think there's enough room. It might just be 7 characters. Nope, I was wrong. Alright, there we go. So, let's get started. Prelude. One day in summer, you land at Sea Island, where Dr. Jones has his laboratory. So this is obviously where that helicopter landed, and we will wander on over here to the village. Now, kind of this game has an interesting legacy. I can't remember the director's name, but basically, kind of JRPGs and those kind of games were starting to get more and more popular in America, and they were doing fine, but this guy wanted to have a game that was more referential to American culture and America itself, and we're going to see some of that very quickly. Let's say hi to everyone. Welcome to Coral Cola. So the cola was very much supposed to be a reference to kind of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and I guess just American soda culture. Welcome to Sea Island. Mike, you're an ace pitcher, I hear. Show me how to throw a fastball sometime. Baseball being Americans' pastime. All of this was supposed to just be strongly referential to America. Oink, oink. Very important that we talk to the pig. I have to hurry. I'm going to roast a pig for your welcome party. Ooh, hopefully it's not that one. Now, we don't have to talk to this guy yet, but just to show you what he has to say. Who are you? Stay away from here. All right, fine. See what this kid has to say. Your uncle, Dr. Jones, is so nice. We call him Dr. J. Last week I met Dr. J. He was very busy solving some strange puzzle. And Dr. J is, I believe, supposed to be a reference to Indiana Jones, Dr. Jones. Where do you come from? Americola? That one is not exactly subtle. This guy here. I heard you were coming. Want to go fishing? No, we don't. But thank you for the offer. Always nice to feel included. Last night I gazed up at the Southern Cross. Suddenly I saw many shooting stars. Legends say shooting stars are omens of disaster. Oh me, oh my. Not really much you need to know about the Southern Cross. We're going to get just a teeny tiny splash of story about it in a minute. I'm Miss Coral, 1990. Do you think I'm pretty? Oh, she seems very cute. Probably. All 14 pixels. Have you met our chief yet? He's waiting for you. Oh, well then, better hurry. But first, Mike, your uncle told me about you. I feel like we are old friends. Not sure that's how friends work, but it's nice. And the chief. I've been waiting for you. I'm Chief Coral Cola and a good friend of your uncle. Listen, Mike, I have some bad news. Last night, try not to be too upset, but your uncle, Dr. Jones, has been abducted. We must keep this from the islanders so they don't panic. You are the best hope of rescuing Dr. Jones. How is that possibly true? I don't know what to do. Can you help? Sure. Be our pleasure. Good, you're brave. Take this island yo-yo. You may think this yo-yo is just a toy, but it's very powerful. Mike, you're an ace pitcher. Use it. And there we go. We have our primary weapon for the game, a yo-yo. Mike, it looks peaceful around here, but in the dark below, many monsters have appeared these last few years. Don't let them get you. Mike, the fate of your uncle is in your hands. Find a tunnel in the village and hurry to Dr. J's laboratory. Really seems like he could have warned us about the monsters before we agreed to help, but that's okay. Oh, you're Dr. J's nephew? Here's the tunnel. Good luck. Alright. It's a low bar for entry. And here we have one more character. I'm the shaman and sister of the island chief. Your uncle was abducted because he found a secret in the lost ruins. I have great hope that you will succeed in rescuing Dr. Jones. Just like your North Star, island sailors look for the Southern Cross. Mike, many wild monsters await you in the dark below. But remember, the magic of the Southern Cross is always on your side. Now begin the test of island courage. Good luck. Yeah, and that's, pretty much all we hear about the Southern Cross. Just kind of a spiritual, magical, guiding entity. Now, get in here and we can see here's our yo-yo attack. We have some nice, easy kind of slug guys to practice using it on. Those stars are one of the most basic pickups in the game. If you collect 5 of them, it will restore 1 heart, which actually doesn't come up quite as often as you might expect for something that seems to be a relatively core mechanic. One other thing that probably can't notice too well just watching, but there's an interesting, actually a couple interesting features about how you move in this game. So, every time you hit the mouse, obviously you can, or the directional pad, obviously you can just hold it in a given direction, but every time you hit it, you'll move 1 square, but only if you're already facing in that direction. So, if I'm here and I want to start going left, the first time I press it, I'll turn left, but there's a lag before you'll start moving further, which sometimes can be very beneficial, and sometimes can get very frustrating, depending on the situation. Now, another interesting thing that has a lot to do with kind of how most of the puzzles and things are solved. You don't really need to kill these rats, you can just go buy them, but whatever. Has a lot to do with how puzzles are solved, is when you'll jump, you can, it's not really platforming, because the jumps just happen automatically, but you'll always jump either 1 or 2 squares. If something's 1 square away, then you'll land on it. If something's 2 squares away, you'll land on it, or, fall off the edge. But there's no diagonal jumping, so you have to factor that into how you're moving. And I think it's on the next screen that we get our first real taste of how that works. Similar to other games of the era, sometimes you kill 1 special enemy and it opens the doors for you. Sometimes you kill all of the enemies and that's what opens the door. And sometimes you have to uncover some type of secret, which in this game is pretty much always jumping on a specific panel that unlocks a button. Now here, if we go left, we will find absolutely nothing of value. This is basically a trap room. It's not much of a trap, but I guess when you're just starting, the bats flying in not irregular patterns, but diagonal patterns with any game of this era causes issues just because of how you move versus how they move. Similarly, over here is basically just a trap room, which is, I think, good game design in educating you on, exploring other possibilities and other ways to canvas a room and areas. So you can see here how we needed to have this square here, kind of like certain chess pieces, in order to switch our positions on the board. I mean, I guess chess pieces don't quite work that way where they're not switching positions, but they do have limitations in how they're moving, and we need to be able to break that pattern sometimes to get onto different sections of panels. That'll come up more later. Here we have our first sub-weapon, which is a torch, I guess, although it's a little bit interesting because, as you'll see, it's not just like a torch that we hold, which would make more sense, but we actually shoot fireballs from it, which is not something I'm familiar with torches doing, but it's pretty cool. Now, when you get the increased tempo to the music there, generally means that you... Oh, we picked up a 5th star. I didn't realize it refilled our health, so that's nice. But yes, when you... the music tempo starts picking up, that's a good indicator that you are approaching the boss. Now here we have our first kind of secret area. Not that secret, obviously. It's pretty much impossible not to uncover it. But still a good way to educate the player on what to expect moving forward. Now this is interesting, because this is an even better secret. Obviously, it's actually hidden, and if you don't think to look for it, you would miss it. We get a second of these little potions here. What these will do is you can use them in the sub-menu when you've paused under your magical items that we'll get more of later, and it will refill, I think, 5 hearts. Now, here, I'm actually just going to pause and, yeah, I'll just pause right now, hang on. Okay, so the reason I did that is to show you this area up here, which is one of the things I don't like in this game, is they have a number of traps that you really don't have a way of seeing them coming, and so I think you can be unfairly punished. So for here, it looks like you've just uncovered a great secret, and, wow, this is going to be wonderful. What else do I find? And it's literally just a death pit. There's no avoiding it. There's nothing you can do. You just step in, and you're dead, which I don't think is very fair. So that will send us back here, and when we die, we lose our potions, and I don't want to do that, so we're just going to pause again and go back to where we just were, so hang on. Alright, there we go. So, let's get back to it. Yeah, I don't love that. I think that's probably the biggest flaw gameplay-wise in this game. There, we'll just try to let that guy go. One interesting thing, I mentioned before about how you need to redirect yourself before you can start moving, but if you're only partially through a move, that's not true. So you can start to go and then come back, which I do like that addition. We just have one more little area to get through here. Oops, that was not well done. Well, I don't really need it, but I guess we might as well refill our health before going in here. So, this here is going to be our boss, and it is the sea snake, which you might think is sea as in the ocean, but it is not. It is sea as in Sea Island. And I don't think you technically need the fireballs to beat it. You can get up there and take it out with the yo-yo, but it's very time-consuming and significantly more difficult. What you generally want to do is be down here, shoot these fireballs into its mouth, and it takes, I don't know, 10 or 15 hits, and it will go down. And pretty simple boss. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, then can obviously be more difficult, but ultimately pretty simple compared to some of the things we'll come to later. I've never done this, but apparently there is a way to, basically if you stand right in front of it and take a hit from one of the fireballs and immediately jump on its head, you can just kind of sneak past it when you're in those kind of invincibility frames initially, and you don't actually have to win the fight, which is kind of fun. It's always nice to see those kind of glitches in there. But that will be the end of the sea snake, and we will never ever see it again at all. Never, I promise. Oop, there we go. Alright, so we will escape this tunnel here. We seem to have passed our test. Wow, you've done it! As far as I know, the points are meaningless. Now saving your day. Good luck. Alright, let's continue on here. We have just another minute or two, actually probably maybe even less than a minute. Hi, I'm Babu, Dr. J's assistant. Mike, you know Dr. J has a submarine called Sub-C. The ID code to start the engine of Sub-C is 1492. Pretty obvious reference. Memorize the ID code, which you don't actually have to memorize. Please get on board Sub-C in the laboratory. I wish I could tell you more, but I'm afraid of... Honestly, exactly what I'm afraid of, I'm not sure, unless he knows exactly what happened to Dr. J, and we'll learn about that later. What I think we will do, actually, though, is just end things here, and when we come back, we'll actually step on the sub, and that will launch us into Chapter 2. But I want to do that in the next video. So, hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time, see ya!